Right in and get started. We'll do questions at the end. So today we're going to go over the ins and outs of reverse dieting. So first of all, why do you need to do a reverse diet? So our body has this process called metabolic adaptation. So every time you diet, your body is going to adapt to that stimulus. So what does that mean? So let's say before you ever started dieting, you were eating or your maintenance calories was at 2,200 calories. And so your maintenance calories is going to be the amount of calories that you are consuming to maintain your current weight. And to lose weight, you have to be in a calorie deficit. So what that means is you have to be burning more calories than you are consuming. So to do this, most women will increase their cardio or their exercise, and then they decrease their calorie intake. And now you may be like, well, I've never done a calorie deficit, but I did do keto. These diets that you've done, like keto, it's just another shitty way to be in a calorie deficit. That's what that is. So, you know, which is okay, by the way. Maybe you made some mistakes with these diets, but nobody told you and you did your best with the info that you had at the time. So give yourself some grace. But you go from 2,200 calories as your maintenance, and then you drop your calories to, let's say, 1,800 calories. Well, your body starts to adapt to that. And your body's going to lose weight at first because it takes time for your metabolism to adjust. But eventually, your body's maintenance comes further and further down the longer that you stay in that deficit. And so now that 1,800 calories becomes your maintenance calories. And a lot of you may have gone right back to eating the same amount you were before without properly reverse dieting. So then you just jumped from 1,800 calories back up to 2,200 calories because maybe you hit your weight loss goal, or essentially the diet just wasn't sustainable. But the problem with that is now your new maintenance calories is 1,800 calories. So you just brought yourself into a 400 calorie surplus. So then you gain the weight back and maybe even more weight than you had before. So then you drop your calories again and your metabolism goes down and you stop seeing results because that new calorie amount that you dropped to becomes your new maintenance. And what happens every time you diet is that you typically diet harder because your maintenance is lower. So now you have to drop your calories lower in order to see weight loss. Or for a lot of you too, you've just been staying at a low calorie amount for such a long time. So you went from a maintenance calories of 2,200 calories, and now it's at 1,200 calories. You're eating 1,200 calories, but you're just maintaining your weight. And you're there for, months and months. And now we've gotten to the point where we can't drop anymore because our body isn't going to function well anymore. You really can't go much lower than 1,200 calories. So we need to bring your metabolism back up so that we can go into a deficit and start seeing start seeing results that way. But nobody tells you how to do this. And this is going to be through the reverse dieting process. So I'm going to tell you what that is, how we do it, and the do's and don'ts with it. But I also want to talk a little bit about what happens to your body when you remain in a chronic dieting or low calorie state, which, by the way, is 1,600 calories or less. That is medically termed as low calorie. So if you're like, I'm not in low calorie, you probably are. But that is a huge stressor on your body. And adding more exercise and more dieting is only going to make you crash and burn. On top of that, you're not sleeping, you're having caffeine on an empty stomach, or you're just heavily relying on caffeine. You're skipping meals. You're always just go, go, go all the time. You're stressed about finances, family issues, things like that. The list goes on. So this puts your cortisol in a constant elevated state, which causes hormone imbalances like negative impact on estrogen, progesterone not being produced, which is going to be the hormone that helps you feel chill and relaxed. Your testosterone takes a hit, which we need that as well. Blood sugar control goes to crap. Our body starts breaking down muscle and it becomes more insulin resistant from not eating enough food, not eating enough carbs, exercising like crazy, fasting and skipping meals, and from being super stressed out. So then you're tired all the time. You have crazy mood swings, intense cravings, brain fog, inflammation, irregular or missing periods, gut health or digestion issues, reduced thyroid function, and then you're struggling with gaining or not losing weight. And that's not a fun place to be. Plus, I mentioned your body is breaking down muscle, which slows your metabolism down even more, and we don't want that. So even though you could be losing weight, but if it's coming from muscle, you're not going to get that tone look that you want. You're just going to be a smaller version of yourself with more fat mass and less lean mass. We don't want that. Not only for the aesthetic reasons, but for your overall health. Muscle plays a vital role in our internal health. And this is why you cannot diet forever. At a certain point, your body is just going to rebel against you and it's going to stop working well. And you can't keep falling into this cycle because it's not going to get any better. But don't panic because it can be fixed. A lot of you are probably like, oh, I have those symptoms, but that's okay. We can fix that. I have had quite a few of you who have started tracking your food and were like, oh my gosh, I did not realize I was eating such low calories. I can't believe that I wasn't feeding my body enough. And I've been looking through some of your nutrition. So for those of you who are tracking, same thing, eating really low calories or skipping meals. I've talked to most of you already. I have ladies question whether the calorie intake I gave them is correct every single challenge because they think it's too high. They're like, 2,000 calories? That's crazy. I'm like, girl, that should actually be a deficit for you, for a lot of them. But you guys, I know. And this is exactly why I created the metabolic makeover method, because this is a very common problem amongst women, especially women who have done many diets in the past and who struggle with their weight. So if you were listening closely earlier, I said that after dieting, you may have gone right back to like eating the same way you did before without reverse dieting, which is why you suddenly were in a surplus and you gained weight. And then I also mentioned how now we need to bring your metabolism back up with reverse dieting since you are stuck at a lower maintenance calorie intake. So what is a reverse diet? It is where we slowly and strategically increase your calorie intake to improve your strength and muscle mass. So your metabolism increases and your body is burning more calories again, so that now your maintenance calories goes up and you can get it back up to that 2,200 calories again, or more in some cases, without fat gain. And it'll help balance your hormones so you actually feel like you again. It'll improve your organ function and lab work. You'll have better energy, better mood, and just all around better health. And someone who's healthier is going to see better changes. So this is so important. We need to fix your body first, so then you can go into a fat loss phase. And this is where eating more sounds terrifying, right? So scary, because everything that you have ever heard says if you eat more, you're going to gain weight. But that is the problem, is that you'll hear over and over again that you need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight, but you'll never hear how to keep that weight off because you can't be in a deficit forever because of that metabolic adaptation. So you need to take breaks from being in a deficit and reverse diet so that your metabolism stays up and you don't sacrifice your internal health. And if you do this, each time you go into a fat loss phase, you could be eating 1,800 calories every time, or even sometimes more, and lose weight every time and not compromise your health instead of eating 1,200 calories and experiencing all of these horrible symptoms and be struggling to lose weight still. And eventually, you don't even have to, or you don't even need to be doing fat loss phases anymore, because you will get to a point where you're at a healthy body composition that you're happy and confident with. And it is much easier to maintain that body composition when you get to eat 2,200 calories or more. In a lot of cases, my maintenance is well over 2,200 calories. So that makes eating out, holidays, social events, way more manageable when you have that much room to work with. So it's a balance of how can we improve your metabolism, keep it high, while losing weight and keeping it off and making sure that we don't have these negative adaptations again. So some of you might be like, I don't know, I don't think that's me. I feel like I'm pretty good. I think I can go right into a fat loss phase. Maybe, but looking at some of the nutrition that I've seen, probably not. But how do you know? How do you know if you have to do a reverse diet or if you need to do a reverse diet? Do you have 3 or more of the following? You've been eating low calories for more than 3 months. So again, 1,600 calories or less have been actively dieting for more than 3 months. You are struggling to adhere to your diet, so you're having binges or you're not really able to stay on track. You're always hungry or you're never hungry. You have poor energy or fatigue, or you're having energy crashes in the afternoon. Poor sleep, or you're waking up not feeling well rested. I know people are trying to normalize this. It is not normal. You're not getting as strong anymore, or you're losing strength. You have an irregular period or no period, and you're not postmenopausal. Your hair is thinning or falling out. You have mood swings or irritability. You feel anxious often. You have low libido. You have poor digestion or gut health issues. You're not having a daily bowel movement. So yeah, you should be pooping at least once a day. And that tends to be a shocker for some people. You find social events around food very stressful or overwhelming. And you diet more than once a year. Or how about you feel like you're doing everything right, but nothing is working? These are all signs that you need to reverse diet. But that is okay. I'm going to walk you through it. So how do you reverse diet? You're like, okay, I need to eat more. I'm just going to start eating more. No, we do not want to do that. That is not what I'm saying here. There is a way to do this, because otherwise we will see big fluctuations on the scale. People can gain fat if they don't do this properly. So the most effective way to do this is going to be tracking your current calorie intake in order to increase your intake slowly with targeted numbers and data. And people don't love this. When I say you need to track your food, people panic. People don't like it. And this is usually because they've used tracking as a tool to eat less. And that gives them this bad relationship with tracking, or they just want to be lazy about it. They don't want to do it. But when you are tracking your food to make sure that you are eating enough and getting enough calories, as opposed to, oh, I can't eat anymore, that's freedom. It allows you to see that you can have the things that you enjoy as long as you're eating mostly whole foods. You can make it fit and you can still see results that you want while eating these foods. And that can actually help improve your relationship with food. It just needs to be used appropriately. So you want to start tracking your food. And then I want you, when you are tracking your food, I want you to just eat like you normally do and track that. Do not try to hit any specific goals. I know MyFitnessPal will give you some goals to hit. Don't try to hit those. Do not change anything. I want to know where you are right now. There's no judgment. This is just collecting data for a baseline so that we can create a proper plan for you. So you want to try doing this for a week, 2 weeks is even better, and then see how things change. So what are you like during the week versus the weekend? How much protein are you getting? How much fiber are you getting? Do you skip meals, etc.? So this just gives us awareness. And then we want to look at how many calories are you consuming. And then we can strategically start increasing. But we want to do this slowly. So a general rule of thumb is increasing 50 to 150 calories each week. Now, if you're someone who has like a hypothyroid symptoms or autoimmune condition, you want to increase closer to like 50 calories a week, which by the way is not a lot. People start freaking out. They're like, I gotta eat more. How do I eat more? I'm struggling to eat more. They're just freaking out over this. Guys, 50 to 150 calories per week is not a lot. Have you looked at how many calories are in almonds? 50 calories is like 6 almonds. You can eat 6 almonds with your snack, right? Yeah, you can. A slice of cheddar cheese is 100 calories. Add a piece of cheese to your sandwich. A serving of olive oil is 120 calories. Cook one meal with olive oil. Okay, a tablespoon of honey, 60 calories. Put some honey in your yogurt. Guys, you can do this. It is not as crazy as it seems. We literally just want to be taking baby steps here, one thing at a time. Now, on the other hand, this doesn't mean eat sweets and high processed or high calorie processed foods to get your calories up. Now, we can have those foods in moderation, but we want to make nutritious choices 80% of the time. And then 20% of the time can be the fun foods. I don't care what those 20% foods are. Ice cream, chips, candy, whatever. Whatever you want those 20% of fun foods to be, it could be whatever. So you're increasing 50 to 150 calories a week. And then we want to see how your body responds. How's your sleep? How is your energy, your mood, your digestion? How's your strength? We want to focus on these markers as health through the reverse dieting phase, because the purpose of a reverse diet is not to lose fat initially. Although I do have clients who do see that because there's a decrease in inflammation and their body is coming out of a state of stress. So then it's finally letting go of fat. But the purpose of a reverse diet is to improve your metabolism, your hormones, your internal health, so that you can go into a fat loss phase and fat comes off much easier and with much less effort. So you aren't going to have to eat low calories and be busting your ass in the gym with nothing to show for it. So, is your sleep improving? Are your hormone symptoms that you were having before improving? Is your mood improving? Energy, gut health? Look out for those things. So how long will a reverse diet take? Well, that depends on many factors, actually. So, factors like how long was your last diet? Or where are you starting your calorie intake? What symptoms are you having? Do you have certain health conditions? How quickly are your health markers improving? How consistent are you with following the plan? Not perfect. We're not looking for perfect. We're looking for consistent. So it can take anywhere from 12 weeks for some people, or in some cases, it can take longer. It could take a year. This is not something that can be rushed. So now I want to address the do's and don'ts of reverse dieting, because a lot of people do try to do this on their own. Some are successful and others are not successful. And I don't want you to be one of the ones who aren't successful and then you just give up entirely thinking that this didn't work for you. Because this shit can be a struggle to do on your own, especially when it comes to increasing your food and being impatient. So this is why having somebody to help you through this is going to be very beneficial so that we can steer you in the right direction. So your body is going to react differently than somebody else's on a reverse diet because your body is compiled by everything that you've experienced and done up until this point, and no one's journey has been the same as yours. So expecting your body will respond a certain way or comparing your progress with somebody else's is going to leave you feeling disappointed if it isn't responding a specific way. So you need to have realistic expectations that are more open and more flexible. And I'll say this again, do not rush this process. I'm not telling you this to try and get you to stay in a reverse diet to make you suffer. I am giving you the best advice to guarantee that you will be successful and see results in a fat loss phase. If you think you're ready for the fat loss phase, add 3 or 4 weeks. If you try and go earlier and you're not ready, then you won't see fat loss. And this process will take even longer than it could have. So be patient. Eat whole foods 80% of the time. So filling your day with foods like protein bars and protein powders and protein Pop-Tarts. They can be helpful to fill in the gaps, but they should never replace whole foods or your meals or be part of your daily routine. Whole foods are going to be where you get your micronutrients, your vitamins, your minerals, your natural fibers that are all going to improve your health. And they're also going to keep you feeling satiated and are going to be better for your gut health too. So those foods are fine to use as supplements, but try and hit at least 100 grams of whole food protein sources before adding a protein supplement, and try not to rely on them to hit your protein goal every day. So instead, look at the data from your tracking app and see where you can increase your protein. So maybe it's increasing from 4 ounces of chicken for lunch to 5 or 6 ounces. Okay, pretty simple. Don't try and completely change the way that you're eating. So you need to be able to stick to it. It needs to be really realistic. This is not about sticking to a specific plan that everybody does. Everyone is different. In order for it to be sustainable, you need to eat what you like, but just fill in the gaps with more whole foods, more fiber, more protein, things like that. You need to be consistent with your tracking and eating. So I know this question was asked earlier, like at the start of the challenge about calories, and I said give yourself a range. This is going to be really, really important for a reverse diet. You don't want to be eating like 1,500 calories a day. I mean, you really don't want to do this anyway, but 1,500 calories one day and then 1,900 calories the next. You've got to stay in like 100, at the very most, 150 calorie range. Otherwise, you aren't consistent and you're just going to have a harder time. And then next, this one's a big one, probably the biggest one. Do not freak out about the scale. The scale will fluctuate and you will see jumps up, and that is totally normal because what we're doing is we're starting to replenish your glycogen, your water, your energy, and you are going to start to hopefully gain some muscle too, which is what we want. Remember, muscle helps our body burn more calories. So, and that, helps increase our metabolism. Plus, muscle, even though a pound of muscle is the exact weight as a pound of fat, it's more dense, which means it takes up less space. That's how we get that tone look, and it's, not going to be taking up as much space as fat does. So we want that. But your body composition can completely change without your weight changing, and that's a good thing. So I'm serious about just tossing the scale out, because if it is going to dictate how you feel about how you are doing, then it is nothing but a distraction that is going to sabotage your progress. And this is usually the reason why people quit too soon. So instead, use this opportunity to improve your food and macro knowledge, develop skills that you can use for the rest of your life. So understanding what your body needs, when you want to treat, when's the best time to have it, so so it doesn't negatively impact your blood sugar. So for example, have your treat with some protein. If you're gonna have dessert, have it closer to dinner because you probably had protein with dinner, right? What foods make you feel better? Fix your relationship with food. There are no specific foods that are gonna cause fat gain or fat loss. Realize that there are just more nutrient dense or less nutrient dense. There are higher calorie and lower calorie. There are foods with more protein and foods with more carb. There are more fiber and less fiber. Okay. So it's all about balance and learning. And then you've got to ask yourself if the fear of what your weight is, or if your weight goes up, is a big enough deterrent that you're not willing to heal yourself, even though you know when you do, you're going to lose even more weight and you're not going to feel the way that you feel today and you're going to reach your goals. Is that number too scary? Or do you stay exactly the same as you are right now and nothing changes? You potentially see the scale go up anyways, and you continue to feel like garbage or things get worse. So you have to make that decision. Am I going to make changes? Am I going to eat more? Are you going to take the necessary steps to get to where you actually want to be? Or do you just stay the same? So earlier I had mentioned that so many women are struggling with chronic dieting, and so many women need to go through this process, which is why I created the metabolic makeover method. So what does that mean? What is the metabolic makeover method? It is a 3-phase process intended to create sustainable, lifelong results by optimizing your metabolism, by balancing your hormones, and restoring your internal health. So we address the root of what's holding you back and then provide simple steps that serve as your foundation for consistent progress and lifelong results. So the first phase is metabolic build, which is an essential step because, as we've discussed in this training, you're going to have a much harder time with fat loss if you do not have a healthy metabolism. This is where we would do the reverse diet if it's needed. And we will do this by increasing your muscle mass and your maintenance calories, focusing on adequate recovery, increasing your energy level, improve your internal health, so stress, hormones, gut, digestion, things like that. We identify the right foods for you and your body and your goals, identify the right exercise plan for you and your goals, improve your mindset and build self-confidence around this process. Learn the skills, knowledge, and tools that you need to then excel in phase 2, which is going to be the accelerated fat loss phase. So after we successfully restore your metabolism and internal health, and then we instill healthy habits, we can now unleash the true potential for accelerated and optimized fat loss. So you will learn how to incorporate social events, dining out, alcohol, date nights, family dinners, and still make progress. And you will learn a balanced approach that works best for you to help you reduce any stress or anxiety or obsession around food, to avoid self-sabotage and making the mistakes that you would normally make on your own. And then, having achieved your goals, you enter the lifestyle fusion phase. So that paves the way for a lifetime of success, because during this phase, we craft a comprehensive long-term plan that is tailored to fit into your lifestyle. And that plan is going to be easy to implement, providing you with the necessary tools and resources to now sustain your achievements with flexibility throughout your life. So it's going to leave you with confidence and the ability to be in control of your nutrition and fitness goals. So I teach you everything you need to know, give you all the resources that you need, walk you through each phase so that you can learn what the process looks like, when to do what foods to utilize to help you reach your goals without feeling super hungry during a fat loss phase. how to come out of the fat loss phase with a reverse diet to maintain results and keep your metabolism up. And that's how I want it to be. I want you to have all of the tools and resources to continue on your journey on your own. For some people, it's a longer journey, and I want you to feel confident doing that on your own. So the good news is you have already started this process during the challenge. So you're already 17 days into that journey. My clients that come to me are usually starting at day 1. So we have to collect all the data first, but you've already started doing that. You've already started building healthier habits. So will you keep it going? Before I open up to questions, I'm going to drop a link in the Zoom chat box. If you're not in Zoom right now, that's okay. I will drop it in the group chat as well. But this is a wrap-up survey for you to fill out. So this is a requirement that you fill it out to be eligible to win the challenge. It should only take you 5 minutes or less. It does need to be filled out by Sunday at midnight before I announce the winner on Monday. But this survey really helps me see how I did with supporting you, how helpful the guides and resources and trainings were, and how I can improve these for other challenges. So your feedback is super important to me. So please fill it out. Do we have any questions at all?